Welcome back to Drawing My Eras as Various Childhood Medias, a speed art series on my channel that has been going on for quite some time. Right now we are on a Pokemon kick. Last episode, feel free to check that out, we turned all of the eras into Pokemon, and this time we'll be turning them all into Pokemon trainers. So I went ahead and chose various trainer classes across the various games, but I think it'd be infinitely more fun if we turn this into a little bit of a guessing game. So feel free to play along as we turn all of the eras into Pokemon trainers and give them each an ace Pokemon, which is basically their partner Pokemon. There was quite a few options I had in mind for Wild Child. The first option was Pokefan because I thought it would be really cute to put her in a little outfit of like her favorite Pokemon. Bugcatcher for obvious reasons, she has the Bug Hotel and all of that. Preschooler because she is the youngest era, and Tuber because this kid spent her entire life in water. Go ahead and make your guess now. If you guessed Bugcatcher, you are absolutely correct. Out of all of them, I really felt that this was the most fitting and could be easily translated with Wild Child's outfit with the overalls, and I just also wanted to give her a giant heckin' net. Like, let this kid go crazy. So I really wanted to try and match the art style of like the very anime kind of promotional art that you would sometimes see. Obviously there's lots of pixel art to reference and everything like that, but I thought it'd be way cooler to do something that was like in the old Pokemon magazines. And so yes, they are gonna look super anime in this, and that's not really like my niche. Obviously I'm very cartoony, yes, but anime is a little bit harder for me to draw personally, so this is gonna be very challenging. For her ace Pokemon, I wanted to pick a bug type, but I also wanted to pick a water type, and that was honestly kind of challenging, but at the end of the day, I had to pick Surskit, because Surskit's literally such an adorable little Pokemon and makes the most hilarious little sound in the anime. Literally just goes, ah. Surskit is so cute. He just goes, ah. He's just so stinking adorable. And also I thought it was great that it like turns into a butterfly, which I feel is very fitting for Wild Child, because I really was trying to find maybe like a yellow butterfly. I thought about maybe Mothim, but that's like a full evolution, and I really want it to be a first evolution, and none of the worm Pokemon really stuck out to me to make it like wormy. So yeah, Surskit was a great option because it's a little pond skating Pokemon, and I thought that would just be perfect for a frog child. So I'm gonna do my best to match all of the poses to my references just because I want to be as close as possible to the original media. So I ended up giving her the little hat because I thought that that was very iconic, the little like safari hat that the bug catchers always wear in the games. But I kept her overalls and I changed a little bit of the features of the overalls. I wanted to put some cute little embroidery on it, like little ladybugs and little butterflies and things, instead of Pokeballs. I know it's like kind of hard to tell she's a Pokemon trainer, but like, let's be so for real. You're on Route 1 and you walk down the road and you see this child jump out of the bushes, like challenging you to a fight. I mean, it should be pretty obvious she's a Pokemon trainer. If not, more obvious that she's a bug catching Pokemon trainer. I tried to keep all of the line art really rigid because like anime is super like that. I wanted to kind of feel like a screenshot in a way where it's just very much mid-frame. And I almost wanted to give it a slightly more painted look, kind of like how a lot of the Pokemon art style is. It has this very gentle brush stroking, very subtle kind of painted look, and that was a little difficult to get down in my first Pokemon video, but now I feel like I've gotten a pretty good hang of it. I finally found my technique that works for me. And because it is so anime, I really wanted to like narrow down the details to make them a lot more fine, because in my cartooniness I tend to blow up things like freckles, and I wanted to make them very fine and small because when it comes to that sort of thing, I tend to notice in anime it is like very, very small amounts of detail, and oh gosh, my extra little heart very much struggling by minimizing the details on my own characters. It's very difficult for me. I like things to be very extra and very annoying and super fun to draw. Nevertheless, I kept most of her details, like her tail, and I gave her pointed ears and webbed feet. Because Wild Child's always gonna be Wild Child. Wild Child's always gonna be a frog no matter what. I could not turn her into a human if I wanted to. Like, that was just not happening. In the end, this is what a wild encounter with a bug catcher named Wild Child would look like. If you locked eyes with this girl in the woods, it is so over. She is gonna sick that Surskit on you. And by that I mean she's probably really easy to beat. Please be nice to her. Please be nice to Wild Child as a Pokemon trainer. She's doing her absolute best. She hasn't caught anything but a Wurmple all day. Give her a break. Can you tell I'm gonna have so much fun with the series? Can you tell yet? Here are the options I had in mind for Blackbird. It wouldn't be a Blackbird roster without Pokemon Rangers. That was one of my favorite games as a kid, so I included Pokemon Rangers, as well as the youngsters, because she's kind of the preteen in-between age. I also put Picnicker up there for the same reason, mostly because I thought the Girl Scout, Boy Scout vibe would work for Blackbird, and Bird Tamer. That one's just really obvious, they have flying types. Go ahead and place your guesses now. Which one do you think I chose for Blackbird? The answer is youngster, mostly because I thought it was just a perfect vibe with the loose clothing, the backwards hat, the energy. It just fit Blackbird the most in my opinion. And it's gonna work out super duper well, I promise you, because she is such a tomboy, it just works out super well. So yeah, Blackbird translates into anime extremely well. I think she would be so happy about that. And I ended up giving her her iconic black fingerless gloves. I kept her mask, her braids, her wings even. I really actually, for the wings, tried to reference Talo, because in my last video I debated on making Blackbird into a Talo and I decided against it and I went for Corvisquire instead. So I'm bringing Talo back. It's one of my favorite Pokemon from one of the first generations I ever played on my Game Boy. And so I gave her Talo wings. I just obviously kept them the same color as Blackbird's wings, but I wanted to reference Talo and made them look very more Pokemon-esque. So like, I guess in this universe, Blackbird would be part Pokemon, which is super cool, and that also implies that Wildchild's also part Pokemon, and I love that. That's so much fun. I think my inner children would just be giddy with joy hearing that news. And so I kept the clothing very loose, very free, very true to the reference. And instead of it just being like a little Sableye on the shirt, I wanted to make it the Pokemon Ranger logo because I do want to honor the Pokemon Ranger every single chance I can. That game was literally my favorite. And so I put the Pokemon Ranger symbol. I kept all of her color palette the same. I'm gonna try and do that throughout this video. I really want to make sure that I'm nailing all of my era's color palettes and still referencing the media at hand, but I really want it to be like, oh yeah, that's Blackbird 100%. It's her iconic shirt. It's the same colored pants, but kind of transferred over to match what I'm drawing. And yeah, she's still got bird feet. She's still got most of her iconic features. It's just putting her in the Pokemon trainer outfit, changing up the art style a little bit, and giving her a Pokeball. And her ace Pokemon, which is so great. I have so many fond memories of Talo. One of the first shinies I ever caught was a shiny Talo, and it was bright gold. And I remember being so happy and so proud when I had that in my Pokemon Sapphire game. I know Blackbird as a Pokemon trainer would just be such a go-getter. She would challenge anybody. It would be like endgame and you'd be walking by with your level 70 party of 6 legendaries and she would still be like, my Talo can beat you. And it'd be like, girl, no, please don't do this. Like, she would challenge anyone who crossed her path without question and without consequence. Like, even if she lost, she would just be like, well, you cheated. Like, she wouldn't even accept it. Her dialogue would be hilarious, dude. If you came across her in a Pokemon game, it would just be the most ambitious young child with like the dinkiest Pokemon, I swear. So this is youngster Blackbird challenging you to a battle. I think this one turned out the best out of all of them. I'm so glad because at the beginning of this series, all of the Blackbird ones were like flopping and I was feeling so bad about that. But I think I finally, as I've grown to know her in the current episodes of Persona Project that I'm working on, I feel like as I've gotten to know her, I've really nailed drawing her in this series. And I think that's so cool to see. I've gone from really unsure to super confident, and now she's like the best out of all of them. It's so awesome. Healing is so beautiful, y'all. Quiz time. Let's guess what Parker ended up being for this video. Out of these 4 options, we have the Kindler, the Fire Breather, Super Nerd, or the Student. All of these could fit for so many different reasons. Kindler was great. I didn't even know it really existed. I had to go and look this up. I was like, oh my gosh, wait, that's perfect. And then obviously Fire Breather was one that I remembered most from Black and White. There was like nerd trainers, but Super Nerd had me cracking the hell up. I thought that was so funny. And then Student from the Scarlet and Violet series, I thought that the outfits were really awesome and could fit really well for Parker too. So all of these were really solid options, but okay, I hope you recorded your answer. I've been stalling this whole time. Okay, I chose Student. I chose Student. I thought that was the most fitting out of all of them because it encompasses the nerd side of things. And also I really think that high school was the time in which I was the most academically successful, really, honestly. I feel like I really put my all into my high school when it came to being a student. Parker really heavily identifies with just being the best student that he can be, so I thought that this was perfect for him. And plus, oh my god, the outfit is just so great, and I could not wait to translate it over. I do apologize, you will see me color everything in blue at first. Like, I don't know where my brain was at. Obviously, Parker was gonna be red. I don't know what happened, chat. My brain was like off, and then it just kicked on. You'll see me go, oh crap, it turned everything red. It's really funny. The brain cell was just bouncing around like the DVD screen, and it finally hit the corner. But anyways, for Parker's ace Pokemon, I chose Torracat, which was another option from the previous video that wasn't chosen. Because oh my god, Parker is a cat-loving bean, just like all my eras. Literally, I'm such a cat person. It should be quite damn obvious on my channel that I'm a big cat person. But also fire type, and I thought that picking a middle evolution was perfect as well as it just being a starter Pokemon for a student. It just all tied itself so beautifully together. And Sun and Moon was one of the Pokemon games that I played during his era too, so it works out so perfect. I couldn't even tell you. I mean, I just did, actually. I don't know what I'm saying. I literally just told you, whatever. Anyways. Anime Parker is the most peak thing on planet Earth. It's like he's meant to be anime, bro. Like, it's beautiful. I'm so happy. All the tiny little freckles. I had to make my art style kind of match anime a little bit more, which meant like more fine details and not such like big floofy like sets of 3 or sets of 4 when it came to curls. I just had to make it very bumpy, and I was like, oh god, I don't know if I like that, but it's what anime does, so I just gotta stick with it, trust the process, and I'm very glad I did. I just thought this outfit was freaking perfect. You got the backpack, you got the adorable little striped pants, you got the big shoes, and I get the jacket around the waist. Nothing screams Parker more than this perfect little outfit, and I was so happy. I also just love the very unsure kind of pose. Like this, I know the reference isn't meant to be taken as like a very unconfident thing, but it just looks so like hand on hip awkwardly posing for my school photo my parents are making me take with my Pokeball. Like, oh, this is so irritating. I'm like, this is so like lame, you know? Like, it just, I don't know, like the post to me, the longer I looked at it, the more it just was giving like awkward first day photo, and I just freaking loved that so much. I wanted Torracat to be kind of like nervously hiding behind Parker, almost like in a protective kind of way. I think all of Parker's Pokemon would be extremely loyal. And yeah, Parker's fighting style as a Pokemon trainer would be super awkward. You would definitely have to come up to Parker to initiate any kind of fight. Like, Parker wouldn't just immediately start a battle. I feel like Parker's very calculated and very strategic and wouldn't just outright do something like that unless it was like a full-blown rival. Be like a kind of like a hidden battle. You probably have to walk up to him into the school and talk to him, and then he'd be like, say, you want to have a battle? Like, he wouldn't start it. Like, you'd have to talk to him first, which is just super Parker coded. And oh my god, the colors all came together. Like, all of the black and orange and red just came all together, and this is honestly one of the best color palettes, I feel, just from the reference to my actual era. And this is Student Parker. Look how freaking perfect this turned out, y'all. I cannot, like, it's the essence of awkward teenager student. All of the colors and everything, it's just perfect. I know that Parker, as a student, would be learning everything he could about Pokemon and would just be such a dork about it and would be so, actually, you can't do this type of advantage because blah, blah, blah. Like, I think this is peak. Well, if you've seen the thumbnail of this video, spoilers for what I drew Holly as, my bad. We can still do the quiz. We can still do the quiz, guys, but just pretend that you didn't see the thumbnail, okay? So Holly, I had 3 options, and it was going to be between the Idol, which is from the Pokemon contests in the Sinnoh region, Lass, which was just a really awesome, fun pose with the perfect kind of aligning outfit, and obviously Artist. I wasn't gonna go this entire video without at least one of the artists being an option for one of my eras. And yeah, if you remember the thumbnail, it was Idol, actually. I had a really hard time choosing between these 3. Obviously, they could have all fit for Holly era, but I thought about what I would want most during that era, and I think the Idol would make the most sense. Like, first of all, Pokemon contests, that whole entire part of the game is so underrated. Like, making the little puffins, decorating your Pokemon, doing dance competitions, doing, like, the battling section where you have to do certain moves that are, like, cool, or beautiful, or, like, cute, you know, and, like, matching the themes and everything. I just thought that that was just, like, one of my favorite parts of that entire generation, and everybody slept on it. And watching the Pokemon anime growing up, I loved watching Dawn participate in all of the Pokemon contests. So I just thought it'd be really cute to give Holly like a microphone and a big beautiful dress and go out there and be an idol. Like, I think that would just be perfect for her, man. And I got my Clefairy after all. Yes, I gave her a Clefairy because I thought that a normal type would fit as well as a fairy type. And oh, I have always loved Clefairy as one of my favorite Gen 1 Pokemon. Look at my Clefairy, look at my little fairy cat from the moon. Okay, I love that thing. And this thought would be perfect also to give to like an announcer type trainer. And let me tell you how adorable this is gonna turn out with the color palette, because when you have Christmassy colors combined with a beautiful dress, oh, it's just gonna be so adorable and so peak. I had difficulty though with the line art with this one because A, Holly is a cat, and I didn't really have a reference to a cat person in the Pokemon anime per se. So the only reference I could really find of the idol was the sprite from Sinnoh's generation. So I had to kind of improvise a little bit. And it definitely turned out a little bit more like just my art style outside of the eyes. So, I feel like I didn't do that great of a job. I do apologize. I did my best. I don't know what those croc-ass looking shoes are, but damn, they're ugly. And I would never, ever wear such a thing. But, it's for the fit, it's for the bit. I can tolerate them for now. But no, it's simply adorable. I gave her these little Pokeball earrings. I gave her the Pokeball microphone and the bow. And I gave her her little Holly instead of like a headband, obviously. And kept all of her cat-like features. I guess she would be more related to like, again, like a cat Pokemon like Lamiao or Skitty or Delcatty, kind of like how Blackbird's related to Tailo and Wildchild's, I guess, related to like Politoed. I want to go more with the lore of the Pokemon anime where they are very much like in battle, but they have to make it very showy and creative. Like I could see Holly being very passionate about obviously being a Pokemon trainer and fighting and everything, but in the sense of making it creative and doing something unique and making it like a show and making it into something like spectacular. It would definitely go to her head though. It would definitely go to her head. She's very much like that, unfortunately. It's so weird to think about that was like me at some point. I was just so like I wanted to be famous for the sole purpose of being remembered. And I think that that's like a really interesting mindset I used to have, and this kind of encompasses that. And this is our idol Holly with her faithful companion, Clefairy, as they announce the next Pokemon contest, maybe as a judge. Like, I imagine she goes from being like the top contest challenger to becoming a judge later on, and therefore being an idol. I feel like that makes total sense for her, from being a fan, growing up and working really hard and rising to the top and being a part of all the action. Like, that feels like such a great little Pokemon journey for Holly, doesn't it? This is the last poll you'll be able to vote on because, sorry, I only had one option for Robin and you will see why. But for Haley, we had 3 options, and it was going to be between the nursery assistant, because I thought that was perfect as like a preschool teacher. That makes total sense for Haley. The aroma lady, which is kind of a reference to the anime, but also in-game, it's kind of like a flower growing person, does aromatherapy stuff. And then a Pokemon breeder, which are Pokemon kind of like daycare workers and those who care for Pokemon and raise Pokemon. And yes, I went with the most fashionable, of course, the Pokemon breeder. Oh my god, no. Like, I mean, the outfit was like 99% why I chose this. But honestly, being a Pokemon breeder makes total sense for Haley. I do call her like my mother era, where I was very much like very nurturing and caring towards all of my inner children and past selves. So I think that that makes a lot of sense that she would be very caring and nurturing to Pokemon. And plus, during that era, I was actually legitimately a caregiver. I would care for elderly and disabled people, and I thought that this was like literally perfect to tie it all together, and very hilariously mostly chose it because I loved the outfit. I thought it fit Haley's already pre-existing outfit really well, but everything else fell into place, so yippee for that. And she's still a dinosaur, of course, so I wanted to pick a dragon type, and since last time it was between turning her into a Dragonite or a Goodra, I had to pick Goodra. Goodra is so freaking adorable, and I love Goodra, and I need more Goodra art and love and appreciation in my life, so Goodra it is. Plus, I wanted a Pokemon that was like as big and tall as her to like help out. I thought that'd be really fun. Like, can you imagine Goodra raising little Goomies and letting them slide down their little tail like a little slide? Oh, it's just so precious. I just think it'd be perfect to work at like a daycare. So I kept all of the color schemes I could, obviously, with the dark blues, the turquoise, and the yellows for Haley. I got to keep the boots. I was so happy about that. The rain boots were a huge part of that era. And the overalls, which is so beautiful. And I just cannot get enough of bandanas on top of the head. I just think it's a really adorable accessory. I tend to wear it a lot in video games if it's an option, like Animal Crossing. And I was like, oh, it's just so cute. I think it fits really well. It helps with the hairstyle and everything. I went full anime on the hair, by the way. I just covered her eye entirely. I was like, you know what? If we're going like full-blown anime, it wouldn't just be a little bit of hair on the side. It would be full-blown like fringed covering the eye kind of thing. I thought that was like really fitting and hilarious. So I did that. Kept all of her scales in her very dinosaur-iness. And a lot of people have been commenting this lately. It's been kind of irritating to me. Yes, I changed Haley's design. The eras are not stagnant. As I heal and grow and change as a person, so do how I view myself in my past. And it only makes sense that I would be redesigning characters. They haven't even barely shown up yet. It's not set in stone or anything. I'm a very fluid person. I like changing things up, and I don't particularly feel that the older eras especially are fleshed out at all, considering I haven't barely interacted with them yet. So I feel like I'm very valid and justified in whatever changes I decide to make, and sorry, it's my life and I get to depict it however I please. I don't appreciate how the only comments I get lately is just, oh my god, Haley looks different, and I'm like, you know what, yeah, fair, I did that, but also there's like a whole animation in front of you. Can we like appreciate that maybe? Like, dang, y'all, dang, the nitpickiness. We gotta tone it down a bit. I'm a human being, man. All of that aside, I think Haley would not really participate in battling as a Pokemon trainer, legit. I feel like Haley would just be very docile and peaceful and very much like, oh, we will raise your Pokemon. We will do our best to give them the best life possible. I feel like she'd be very gentle with Pokemon. She probably would actually be against them fighting, I'm not gonna lie. She would be very sad about the notion of Pokemon fighting. I feel like she's kind of a vegan girly in that way. She'd be like, oh my god, that's so sad, I don't want them to fight. I know that's like really funny and counterintuitive for the Pokemon nature of like how it all works, but I feel like she would just want to care for them and live alongside them and like study their ecology and appreciate the nature of Pokemon kind of thing. She'd probably honestly give you like a helpful item. Like honestly, she'd probably give you something like a shell bell to calm Pokemon. Like she'd be just such a kind and caring soul to come across in your journey, I feel. And this is Pokemon breeder Haley. Look at how perfect the color palettes all match. Oh, it's just so beautiful. I knew from the get-go the outfit was gonna pull this off perfectly, but it just turned out so cute with Gutra and everything. I loved this. I think it really fits her super well, and her little anime-ass hair that I can absolutely change whenever I want. Hell yeah. I just love this. All of Haley's have been turning out so beautiful lately. I've been really having so much fun turning her into all kinds of fun different medias. Alright, time to explain why Robin isn't a part of the little quiz game, because I legitimately could not find any trainer types that I thought fit me who I am right now. It's really hard to figure out who I am right now. It's hard to have a sense of identity when you're healing all of your trauma and you're overcoming a lot of your past and looking towards a future you didn't think you were going to have. Let me tell you how hard it is to kind of pinpoint who I am right now. And I'm also not complete. This era is like far from over. Robin's era will end when Persona Project ends, and like at this point that's going to be another few years from now. I've got years left to figure out what this era is like and who I am, and I don't ever know if I'm gonna figure that out yet. So it's really hard to kind of nail down anything for Robin. So I guess the only thing I feel super confident in this moment is that I'm confident. And so I went with Ace Trainer. I thought that maybe Robin is kind of the strongest out of all of us. The fighting spirit of all of us is learning to heal, is overcoming a lot, is fighting for our mental health and physical health and emotional well-being. Robin is the bravest and the strongest, and I feel that Ace Trainer fit the best because of that. Ace Trainers in the game tend to have like outrageously overpowered Pokemon and tend to be like the best in their class kind of thing. Like you come across one of those Ace Trainers, your team is gonna be wiped and you're gonna have to go all the way back to the Pokemon Center and heal. Like Robin means business, man. And I chose Tropius because I very much feel like I'm in my grass type era right now. Like I'm very much like a gardener. I love being outside. I'm doing photography again. I love nature. And also I wanted to pick a flying type. So flying grass, my first thought was one of my favorite Pokemon ever, Tropius, because dinosaur with fruit. It's fruity. Oh my god, it's just everything I love in one perfect being. A flying, beautiful, grassy dinosaur. Oh, yes, I love it. I love Tropius. So I thought that would also be great that even if Robin can't fly right now, if Robin's broken wings are kind of flaring up and a pain is keeping them from flying, they're trusty Pokemon can still help them fly. I think that that is just so beautiful and symbolic and so healing for me to have a Pokemon that can lift me up right now in this era. When I can't fly, it can help me still soar. I think that's so beautiful. And I kept Robin still as partially a bird, partially a human. A little more human than I actually would make them normally. Usually I draw their legs as like bird feet and they would be very big, but the art style was not fitting that. Let me tell you, that was not it. So I made them a little more human than usual just for this case. They would still probably be related to a Pokemon. I was going more Starly, actually. I was going with the Pokemon Starly, and I kept all the little details small. I really loved the jacket on this, the Ace Trainer, because there's a lot of different types of Ace Trainer styles I could have chosen, but this is the one I went with because I just really like the jacket, dude. The jacket and the undershirt and like the pants and the underpants. Like, that's freaking hilarious. Like, why are we wearing tights underneath pants? Like, it's just really funny. Like, I love the layering of Pokemon outfits. I think they're just like really good and fashionable, but also I just sit there and question, like, why are we wearing so many layers? Like, God, that has to be so hard to walk around in. Like, it can't be that comfortable. So anyways, yeah, the outfit was a huge contributor is why I chose this specific one, because I just really like the idea that it's kind of like a jacket. I'm very much wearing my jackets in this era. I changed up all the colors to make it really match Robin as they are right now. And throughout this entire thing, I feel like I got more and more loose with the painted style. Like, at first I really tried to match what was the reference, and then I kind of went off reference and off reference until we ended up here, because I just really wanted it to be a little more painted. Like, it wasn't showing up as strongly in the other pieces I did, so I was like, no, we're going all in on the painted look. I'm gonna go a little bit more detail with that, so that's why Robin's might appear slightly different. I just kind of, at this point, you could see it progressively happening. We decided to do more and more shading and lighting. But this is how Ace Trainer Robin turned out in the end. Beware if you challenge them, they are quite strong and mean business. I think this is freaking perfect. This healed a part of me. Oh my god, it's so great. It's so nice to nail a small part of my personality, even if it's just as generic as I am strong. It is just a very positive thing for me to say, yes, I am strong. I am the Ace Trainer that I've always wanted to be when I was a kid, and all my past selves to be proud of where I am today. Thank you all for participating in my silly little minigame during this video. I hope you have enjoyed seeing all of the eras turned into Pokemon trainers. And the Pokemon series is continuing. We're not done yet. I want to cover a couple more Pokemon topics here before we move on to a different media. So next time, I'm gonna challenge myself, very much challenge myself, by making my own fake mon. So Pokemon that are not real for each era. So that's gonna be a very interesting video. It might take me a little bit longer because boy, that's gonna be difficult, but I have the utmost confidence that I'm going to make the coolest fake mon for my eras, and I hope you all will join me next time to see it all come to life. Until then, thank you guys so much for all the support. Until next time, bye-bye!